Welcome, everybody. I'm Patrick Miller. I'm here to interview Michael Dove. As part of his deep soul work, he has returned to America. And this interview we're going to have today, we're going to explore regarding that transition over back to America, sort of the context around that, what he's been up to in India, and why he is here, and what kind of work he's going to be doing in America. So let's bring Michael Dove on.
Patrick, it's good to see you again. Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
And yes, it's quite a it's quite an event. It's quite a surprise and everything. Being back, and so much has been going on. There's so much to share, and I think some exciting things that will be coming up as well. And
Wonderful. Well, why don't we start with I think it was a surprise to many people to hear you were back in America, and so why don't you share with us a little bit of the context around returning to America, and why you're back, and how it's going so far.
Okay. Oh, certainly. Well, as the way that these things work, and the way that I tend to kind of navigate around the world, if you will, is that I essentially go where I am called. Okay. And then of course the callings happen on like a deep spiritual level. And then, and often it's a matter of the universe sort of placing me someplace, which is essentially how I got to India in the first place. I was called there, and just in the right perfect time to be able to do some very, very special work, and to merge and bond with my community and what became my families there in Varanasi. And so this was very much a kind of a divine appointment, if you will. So everything kind of fell into place, which allowed me to do all the things that I was able to do there. And so similarly, it's like getting called back to the States very, very suddenly. And usually, there's a pretense of some kind of excuse that in terms of sorting things out to do so. But very quickly, when one looks at that, you realize, like, the real reason, the actual truth of why one was brought back. And then you look at the divine timing of things, like what's happening in America, what's happening in our lives now, and in order to kind of get a clear picture of what our purpose and what our duty is being here. And that's something that I'd like to kind of get into and discuss and present, and because I think it's so important on so many levels here. But I was called back very clearly, or it seems very clearly to me, to do work, and it's consistent with kind of like the work that I was beginning in Banaras, in Varanasi. I began to really get into what we could call this great mission, this great commission, and it's not just articulated by me, but other teachers in previous eras as well, which is about bringing together East and West. You see, and that this is consistent with like other teachers, like Vivekananda and Yogananda, and others that had that intention, that are moved and motivated by that that wave, that desire, that need. And
Mm-hmm.
so I began speaking about that and doing that even before I left Benares,
Mm-hmm.
you see. And then as I am arriving here, it becomes clearer. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes that much uh, more obvious and important. And so I'm aware of it on like a number of levels, and to sort of be, from an esoteric and spiritual sense,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's as if hearing, the distress calls, the distress frequencies, that are kind of resonating in the society now, and when you kind of attune to that and feel the confusion, feel the conflict, feel the uncertainty that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of moving through society, it becomes clear. It's like, okay, all right, there's a sense of duty that gets activated.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it's kind of like the same impulse that was behind the spiritual first responders that we
Yeah.
did during the time of COVID, and that
Mm-hmm.
and that we pulled it together in order to be able to support and activate healers.
Yes.
You see, and so when I reflect on these things and look at it and as to why I'm here, what it feels like to me,
Mm-hmm.
it's a kind of a similar sort of thing. It's like to be, in essence, like a spiritual first responder,
Aha.
you see,
Yeah.
and then to look at, okay, well, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll start over. That's the spiritual first responder,
Mm-hmm.
and then to kind of reflect on, like, what does that mean? What does it look like? And so what comes to mind for me very, very clearly, it is to activate healers, to activate a latent and dormant and unrecognized capacity that many people have
Mm-hmm.
to be healers, to respond to what is going on, to
Yeah.
minister, so that there needs to be activated
Mm-hmm.
ministers
Yeah.
that work in the mode of deep soul work,
Right.
that speak to the underlying and the uh, core essential potential to heal,
Mm-hmm.
speak to the distress,
Yeah.
you see.
Yeah.
And there needs to be more people who are activated and given the permission,
Mm-hmm.
you see, to given the permission to be in their fullest, to uh, to engage.
Yeah. Um, you've been in Varanasi as your home for 5.5 years now.
Mhm.
You traveled to the U.S. Like once, I think, in that time period,
Mhm. Mhm.
and back. But this is different this time, as you mentioned. This is sort of a calling, coming back to America to do this type of work. What are what would you say you've learned the most from your time in Varanasi? What are some of these
Ah,
essential qualities and experiences in Varanasi that are really, you've been able to integrate into your into your being and your
Ah,
work. Yeah.
yes, yes. It's very interesting. It's an excellent question because it's like, as I say, when I arrived in Varanasi in 2020, all right, I was already a spiritual teacher. I was already engaging with people and doing work, across the states and in Europe and in Canada and other places with many people. And so I arrived in India kind of very primed and kind of ready to do work, but also very ready and primed to absorb like the next phase for me. Um, so what I learned in Varanasi was how to be attuned to, on a cultural level, on a social level, on a deep personal spiritual level, that what I call that frequency of eternity,
Mm-hmm.
an eternal kind of frequency that kind of runs through that holy city,
Mm-hmm.
and you can kind of feel it, and it's everywhere, and you've been there, so you kind of know what I'm talking about. There's an eternal, timeless, classical, timeless frequency
Mm-hmm.
that over time, um, one can absorb.
Mm-hmm.
And so, on the deep inner level, it was for me an experience of kind of becoming one with the city.
Mm-hmm.
You see, being so
Mm-hmm.
utterly steeped and um, sort of, kind of absorbed in the life
Mm-hmm.
and the holiness, the protocol, the social aspect, the fabric of this holy city, and um, and so I was ready to do that at that deep level,
Mm-hmm.
and also because of, like, some lineage and past life reality. A lot of that absorbing of the city was a process of memory.
Mm-hmm.
You see, activation of memory, uh, that I feel like allowed me to become really absolutely part of the community. You see, I was absorbed into families there, and then the life, the cultural life, the regular life of that, of that city. Even learning the language and everything. And so that's like the main thing. So, and also, I would say that there was a kind of a permission, a very kind of a visceral, fundamental sense of permission to sort of be my sacred self,
Mm-hmm.
in that I was embraced by the community, embraced by the families there, the community, as as a teacher, healer, and even as a guru,
Mm-hmm.
sort of acknowledged, and as one that functioned in that mode within the cultural context, just very naturally,
Yeah.
just very effortlessly and naturally. And so that was to me, the most valuable thing.
Yeah.
And so as soon as that occurred, it was like, okay, it's time to step out,
Mm-hmm.
you see, and engage with this, from this place, with uh, this background, this experience, and with, being so steeped in this kind of, in these frequencies.
Yeah,
Uh,
that makes a lot of sense. And you've that eternal sacredness for those who haven't been to Varanasi, for thousands of years, these ceremonies have been going on the Ganges, the burning ghats. There's things that have been happening there that happen every day and have been going on for thousands of years. And so there is this very visceral, real, eternal
Hmm.
sacredness there. And it sounds like you really integrated into that and had that memory of being so one with that, and then being embraced by the community there and really becoming part of the fabric. Or again,
Hmm.
and as you mentioned now, like taking your teaching work there, but also there was a level of not just being embraced, but sort of being able to actually be your full sacred self there, expressing as to becoming a teacher of people there. And
Hmm.
now even taking on taking on students and disciples essentially, and even
Yeah.
taking on that role of guru, which is, the dispeller of darkness. And so
Hmm.
having people there to actually now, um, you know, um, wanting to learn from you and wanting to follow
Hmm.
and understand your mission, and so yeah, what was that process like for you? Just of sort of being referred to as the
Ah,
guru. What was that
yes,
like?
yes, yes, yes. It was a like a sense of
Uh,
completion and graduation, if you will, and also again like a very very simple acknowledgement too, because of uh, the regular duties that go with it, in terms of being kind of like the anchor of the community,
mhm,
being one that people went to,
mhm,
in terms of like, particular issues and things. And so this was an experience of an integration, and
mhm,
just utter integration into the sacred life of a most sacred city.
mhm.
You see,
Yeah.
and yeah, and so it's really quite an extraordinary, experience. But I would also say that, interestingly, and paradoxically, perhaps, there's also the energy, the frequency, if you will, of the utterly ordinary
Mhm,
and mundane, in the sense of this is just regular life,
mhm,
except, in sort of hanging out, meditating on the ghats next to the on the banks of the Ganges,
mhm,
and my friends and buddies are like the boatmen and the
mhm,
sadhus and the holy men and the babas and the regular people, and so it's like this interesting fusion of which is utterly mundane,
mhm,
but at the same time extraordinarily holy and exquisite, and you're so in tuned constantly with the eternal, that you
mhm.
become steeped in a timelessness
Yeah.
that is ongoing, and that timelessness becomes part of you.
Right.
You see, and you carry it everywhere. You carry it with you. That's the thing.
Yeah, and you're able to then help other people to sort of tune into that timelessness, and because I think a lot of people, most have all sorts of questions about what's going on in the world or in their lives or in their day to day, and
Hmm. Hmm.
the when they are the only real answers to those questions are the like eternal truths, and
Yes,
translating those eternal truths into something that makes that they can integrate into their life.
yes, exactly. Another way of saying it is like, you become a sacred mirror.
Hmm.
Become a sacred mirror, which allows another to finally see that aspect of themselves that has always been here. You see, that always was, and as they self-witness in this way, when they do that depth, that deep soul, if you will, depth of reflection, uh, an individual can uh, be acquainted with their eternal aspect.
Mm.
Their eternal aspect becomes real to them.
Hmm. And so this is something that now, coming back to America, and you've been called to, like, in the word healer, right, is like to make whole, and right,
Mm-hmm.
it comes from that originates from that idea to make whole. And so, like, you've been called back to America. You've like you said, there's almost like a sense of completion that was experienced, and it's like all of a sudden you're called back to America, and
Yes.
you have a very clear very clear understanding that there is this work here and is now ready to be performed in America.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like there is so much political upheaval and social upheaval, and people are feeling a lot of emotions and a lot of fear and a lot of all these things. And at the end of the day, right, like, people are those elements of, like, this, eternal sacredness, having that sort of constant,
Mm-hmm.
a true eternal sacredness is something that people can actually, because when society is changing so quickly, or there's so much political change, it's very challenging. But if there's something that people can tune into that's eternal, and if they can then use that eternal to actually heal not just others in their community, heal themselves and heal their communities, that's an incredibly powerful concept.
Yes.
And so I would like to hear a little more from you about, in America, what do you see as, yeah, tell us about, like, sort of the work that you're planning to do
Uh-huh.
in America.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll start with this. It's like the key essential duty, function, work that I have is to be what I would describe as kind of a sacred reminder. A
Mm.
reminder, as simple as that, because if we look at, like, the distresses, the situations that's happening in the States, but also in other places around the world too, you have to ask, okay, well, what is it about? Uh, these are the things, the symptoms, if you will, when a people, individuals forget who they are.
Mm.
When they forget who they are, all right, they lose that sense of connection, of remembering, who they are. It's as if things start to fall apart, things start to fray, and the uh, old unresolved lessons and karma, if you will, starts to kind of take hold, and people become, you know, rather seized and possessed by these karmic complexes, if you will,
Yeah.
that kind of take over. And but in essence, it's the result of people forgetting who they are,
Hmm.
forgetting. And so there's a simple need of a true and credible reminder, a reminder, uh, a sacred mirror
Hmm.
to activate memory, to activate the um, the sense of uh, knowing, who they are, the context of who and what they came for.
Hmm.
You see, to be reminded of their essential design and purpose as beings.
Right.
I.e., what they came in for truly. You see, and so this is essentially the most valuable thing that can be brought. It's a simple response to a distress call,
Hmm.
a distress signal. You think in modern terms, you think of like the holy bat signal
Yeah.
that's put out there, and you see for those who can see, you just react,
Hmm.
show up. Your soul brings you. You see, and and so that being said, I'm suggesting it looks particular ways.
Hmm.
There are particular ways in which this duty is fulfilled, and for me, it is presenting and speaking to groups and creating experiences that allow people to be steeped in their truth, so that a memory, knowing and memory and orientation and orienting in terms of their design and duty and purpose as beings is natural. It comes, it comes through. That you create such a safety and a richness and a fertility in terms of uh, being held safely, that it allows people to remember and sort of re-identify with their own unique light, their own unique mission, their own unique design as being. So it's just simple facilitating memory,
Hmm.
you see. And so workshops, teaching situations, individual counseling, individual discussions, uh, within social interaction
Hmm.
is all part of it, because as you know, so much of like spiritual teaching and spiritual work and everything happens at these levels that are beyond language,
Yeah.
beyond the band in which we are ordinarily dealing.
Yeah.
And so it's the presence, it's showing up,
Hmm.
it's that is the level and the realm in which activation, the most important activations take place. And so my role is just to be a facilitator
Hmm.
in that sense, or to be a really
Mm.
an excuse, as I like to jokingly say, a really cute excuse
Okay.
to for this experience to happen.
Yeah.
And you see, and so showing up in that sense is quite simply just volunteering to be that, for people.
Yeah. So these workshops that you're going to be facilitating, yeah. So a lot of them, it sounds like they will be sort of around this showing up, around how because you mentioned the first responders earlier, and
Yes,
is the essence there? Is it's like is that what is being called to again? It's like that's what
yes,
is needed is more healers, and so these workshops are they really to like find those people that are hearing a calling and want to do something, and working with you they can
yes,
get the
yes,
tools and things they need.
yes. Yeah, like another way of saying it is like there's a great number of dormant individuals who are not uh, engaging and activating at their potential.
Hmm.
And there are reasons why that's so. So many people have sort of forgotten what their potential was.
Hmm.
And I often speak about people of certainly of a certain generation that in the 60s and the 70s and 80s they became very activated and enthused and spiritual and drawn by a sense of promise, the spiritual promise,
Mm.
potential, what life could be like, what their experience could be like. But for a myriad of reasons, life takes over.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? The jobs, the kids, the mundane, the work. You got to have money. You got to do this. Got to pay car payments and all of that. And so it's like the excitement, the enthusiasm, the ideal, the pristine sense of exquisite ideals
Mm.
that drives and activates people gets kind of put on the shelf.
Yeah.
It's kind of put on the shelf, and because we just have to do, regular life. And
Yeah.
so there are many individuals that reality of the world, circumstances, situations, the uncertainty that is permeating everywhere is actually calling these individuals.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they may or may not remember, how to uh, fully engage and activate themselves. They may need a reminder,
Yeah.
that a sacred mirror that spontaneously gives them the fullness of the picture.
Right.
They see their wholeness.
Hmm.
You see, which is where the word, the etymology of the word holiness.
Right.
You see, so they're in need of meeting themselves.
Hmm.
You see, meeting who they are in this regard, and uh, and it's simply necessary at this time.
Yeah.
At this time, and there's some of that happening,
Yeah.
certainly, but I feel called to bring like my element,
Hmm.
which is like a deep soul realization, a
Yeah.
deeper, more fuller, comprehensive kind of realization that, the truth for them, that yes, indeed, you signed up for this. Remember? Remember, you signed up for this. This is why your incarnation happened. You see, and so to confirm,
Yeah.
let people remove any doubt
Hmm.
becomes very important, and to present the clarity that yes, indeed, that mission that you vaguely suspect,
Yeah.
uh, is there's truth there, and
Yeah.
it's okay, to inhabit your role as healer, change agent. Uh, you see.
Yeah. What would you say? It sounds, I think that, you know, many, when there's a time when people are obviously feeling, there's many people that are very angry. There's a lot of like political activism or things like that. And, is this essentially like people feel like they need to do something about it,
Hmm.
or they want to do something. And what I'm hearing is that this is actually a bigger, a higher calling, and to do much more than just to just like protest or be angry, but actually
Hmm.
this is a real calling to like the world actually needs healing. What can you really do about it? And how does that, like, this is sort of like an inner calling of transformation, like how to transmute
Hmm.
those emotions and feelings, and sort of the feelings of need to do some transmuting that into something that will actually like really transform the energy or the frequency of the community and the world.
Yes, yes, indeed. Because when we look at like what what is required, i.e., what on the deepest level is being asked of us, what is being drawn from us, especially as spiritual people, as conscious people, people
Hmm.
who have serious spiritual practice and such. It's like, okay, what is our role? What is our duty? And what's the issue? Um, so much of what is um, kind of burdening people or vexing people now is actually fear.
Hmm.
Is fear, and if you drill into, okay, well, what is the fear about? Um, Fear of not being enough. Uh, the panic of when one feels helpless. So we're talking about many, many, many people being engulfed in a sense of helplessness, an infantile kind of helplessness. And when people feel that, um, the fear gets externalized as anger.
Hmm.
Anger and rage is projection, projection, projection. It's this entire spinning out of reactivity, of being triggered and reactive. But
Hmm.
underneath is fear. Underneath is a kind of terror. Okay, and and that's something that needs to be addressed, needs to be spoken to on a collective level in a credible way. Um, that uh, it's like Franklin Roosevelt was very, very correct when he said that there's nothing to fear but fear itself.
Hmm.
Unreasoning, just unwieldy fear. And so um, you have to ask, well, what is the essence of the fear? Is the fear that you can be erased
Hmm.
and gone. All right. And when there's fear of erasure, that's what triggers. I would suggest rage. Fear of erasure, the specter of erasure triggers rage. Now, that in essence is an untruth. It's in essence a lie, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Meaning that fear of erasure, the idea of erasure, is not possible if you are eternal,
Hmm.
if you are not in touch with your eternal nature, the truth of uh, one being and eternal being, that you cannot be erased.
Hmm.
You see,
Yeah.
and this is sort of like uh, what requires mirroring back
Yeah.
to an individual. You see, um, that mirroring of an individual, of a being's eternal nature, so they know it,
Yeah.
shifts everything,
Yeah.
spontaneously shifts everything. You see.
Yeah, these are really like bringing these Eastern teachings and Eastern realities to the West in a way that it's been an ongoing process, and
Mm-hmm.
as we
Mm-hmm.
know, for the last 100 years, more than 100 years,
Oh, certainly, yeah.
You mentioned Vivekananda being one of the first
Mm-hmm.
Indian teachers and gurus to come here and then Yogananda being the first to actually make his home in America
Yes.
and bring a complete teaching of these yoga and and Vedic teachings to America, and now and people have been doing practicing hatha yoga, and it's been an
Certainly.
integration process in America, and it sounds like there's now, but it's like the integration of those eternal truths is essential now. We can no longer ignore. We can't just pick and choose little pieces of this that we
Certainly.
like, because because the nature of the universe is such that we're going to be put into sort of a situation where we have to touch into these eternal truths, because they are the only way of being able to, like, I think, realize one's true soul nature.
Hmm.
And so if to bring that higher awareness that everybody is eternal, and that this lifetime you're in is part of an ongoing process of purification, part of an ongoing process of becoming your higher self, becoming your highest self. And so we start getting into, really, it's a transformation of consciousness.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's really what is we're talking about here, is making people aware that they are much more than their body, and this person they call I, this ego, much more than just their name and their body. And they are essentially, as some, like, I think, like, quantum physicists have, like, said, like, every person is essentially the center of the universe.
Yes. Yeah.
And those are even, like, yoga teachings as well. And
Hmm.
and it and science has come to show that everything really is energy. And at this quantum level, we are we can do much more than we're taught what we can do by our
Yeah.
society. We are capable of so much more as
Hmm.
eternal beings. And so now is the time. So in a way, it's really quite exciting, when there's when these things are happening. It's like, yeah, it's like it's all bringing it to the forefront, so that it really is part of, like, a purification, I feel like.
Yes. 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 Yeah. Exactly. And it's like, for me, it's like, the good news is that it's so simple. Simple. You see, the idea of this happens when we meet ourselves. You see, when the most clear and effective mirror is presented, this realization, this waking up, is spontaneous. It's spontaneous. It goes. It transcends, or it defies articulation. It goes beyond words. And so I like to really uh, center in on the simplicity. You see, the simplicity. It's as simple as waking up.
Hmm.
Okay, simple as waking up. And people often, it's like the mystics. They describe sort of, leaving the body, dying. The soul slipping out of the body as waking up. It's like, oh wow, I was asleep. Now I'm awake. You see,
Hmm.
and so it's very simple and natural. So the idea here is that if one could wake up within their life, within the prime of their incarnation, in the prime of their life, to simply wake up similarly. It's like, oh wow, that whole story was just a hologram. You see, it was a hologram. It was a story. It was Maya. It was illusion. It was all of that. But you wake up, you know, and when I say wake up, I'm saying simply wake up into your eternal self,
Mm-hmm.
that your eternal nature, and that with that experience, you engage differently. You engage in a much more conscious way, and yeah. So it's it's really the call to wake up,
Mm-hmm.
and remember,
Mm-hmm.
remember.
Wonderful. Yeah, and it sounds like these workshops and what you're going to be offering to people here while
Mhm.
you're in America, I would encourage people to get in touch with you and find out when you're going to be doing these workshops. And
Yeah.
I know you'll be putting out more information as you are planning these things. And I think the way that you know just being people being able to come to your teachings or come to your workshops. Many of you, some you've been doing online for a long time, but you'll be doing in-person workshops. So this could be a
Yes.
unique opportunity for people in California, particularly, but also maybe other parts of America
Yes.
as you start to roll out your tour, and
Hmm.
just coming and being in these spaces that you're going to create, because they will be able to like you mentioned, words only go so far. Really,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
this is something that you have been able to provide people. Yeah, maybe you can speak more to that.
Yeah. 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 There will be spaces that are uniquely nurturing. They're going to be allow the kind of permission for activation, permission for realization, permission for self knowing, to the degree that it shifts your life, shifts your experience, and such. And we'll be dealing with certain subjects like learning how to activate the psychic immune system.
Hmm.
You see, the psychic spiritual immune system. We will be, in particular, looking at how to meet and transcend the catastrophic.
Hmm.
You see, to engage beyond the catastrophic to the degree that you're able to handle anything that the world, the universe, life presents to you. We will be we'll also be having just very, very powerful, deep, like meditations. Perhaps like evenings with Michael Dove, where they kind of a satsang experience where we just fall into the depths of of that of the harmonics, the frequency of the harmonics, so that we can collectively know what I often refer to as this collective avatar frequency.
Hmm.
You see that it's something that is universal and belongs to all people, all humans, the whole world. Our collective capacity to retrieve ourselves, to renew, to spontaneously renew. So these are the kinds of things that we'll be dipping into, and I'm very excited about it. It's like it's going to be fun. We're going to be having a very, very good time, and it'll be just like way back in Benares, back in the day.
That sounds really wonderful. I'm really excited to see how this unfolds.
Hmm.
Um, I think this is a good time to stop. But before we go, I wanted to, maybe how can people get in touch with you? And
Okay.
what's the best way to get in touch with you? And also maybe just an idea of how long you're going to be in America, or you think you might be,
Oh yes, yes.
and what's sort of the next for your
Hmm.
for the tour you're going to be doing.
Yes, yes. I'll be here for a just a few months, And I'm going to be at the end of this giving my email address, which is yourdoveInIndia@gmail.com. Well, that'll be across the screen. And also, I'll be presenting my WhatsApp number that I can be reached as well. And then my website is michaeldove.net. All one word, michaeldove.net. And so that'll be in the space below and then on the screen here too.
Wonderful.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes.
I encourage everyone to go to your website, michaeldove.net, and see all the work that you have done and all the things you offer there already. There's so much there.
Mm-hmm.
And is there anything else you would like to say before we go?
Yes. I would say to people, to give something that people can have and hold, is that your eternal nature is there. It's just behind everything. It's behind the story. It's behind the hologram. There is your strength, your capacity to meet any challenge is right there. And all you have to do is meet yourself. And with that, I say bless you, Dhanyavad, thank you, and namaste.
Thank you so much, Michael. Namaste.